day. What's up, Retro Shaver dude? How's it going? You're my first you know live streamer. What do you call them? Chatter. Just got going. I released a video right before coming on here as well about the Segway Zyber. Nice. Like I said, just getting started. So yeah, like I said, I just released a video on the Segway Zyber. It's a really interesting piece of equipment there. I know they call it an electric bike, and it kind of resembles some electric bikes, but it's a bit more than just a fat tire electric bike, in my opinion. It's kind of it's a really well designed, like I said, piece of machinery. I would come closer to calling it an electric motorcycle before I would call it a electric bike. I think it's more like a moped, old style mopeds that look like motorcycles with pedals. To me, that's what it looks like. But what do you think about the new Zyber? I'm gonna try to look into it. I'm not like I said, I'm not really leaning toward any anyone scooter 100%. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the new InMotion RS. Also, it's gonna be about timing. Uh, timing on the when the RS is released. I know the Daytona is supposed to be released this spring, and so I would expect them to be on time. I believe that they're trying to hit the market at the perfect time with the Daytona, whatever it's going to be called. Trying to hit the market with the Daytona uh, right in the spring, which I like is probably the prime moment to do it. Right before the weather's nice, and so I think they're going to be on spot with that, and probably if InMotion is competitive in that regard. I mean, if they ended up not being able to release it for whatever reason till late in the summer or fall, that's a big difference. There's I want to be able to ride whatever. I mean, I'm not in a hurry necessarily, but like I said, it could be a timing thing. If I'm ready to go, if I'm decided in spring, I still want to ride during some nice parts of the year. So I'll probably try to make a decision before it starts getting cold. If I end up stretching it out that far, I mean, I'm likely just to wait another several months and see what I can come up with for the next spring, honestly, or Black Friday or whatever. So maybe the Daytona will drop by next Black Friday. But I'm not making my mind up yet. I'm not pressuring myself to get anything done by a certain time. I mean, they're the scooter companies. They're the ones that have to get stuff done by deadlines and so forth. Me, I'm just hanging out and and checking out scooters. But the new InMotion RS, of course, if it releases on time and it's competitive, based on what I know about the Daytona at this moment, that would be tough to beat. It would be tough to beat. They're really going to have to come to the table, and I don't know if they're prepared to take the kind of step that Voro Motors has taken with the eMove Project Daytona. So I that to me that's a question. It's a big question mark if they're going to be able to do that. But I'm that's my number. Obviously, that's my number one scooter. I'll keep my eye on is the Project Daytona. I like the RS. I like to see what they come out with. But if I already know the Daytona is likely going to be under $4,000. That's their target. And if InMotion comes out with something that can compete with that scooter and be under $4,000, great. I mean, they're likely going to try to come up. If it's a replacement for the RS, it's likely going to be about $4,000. So that will come into play. But right now, even if the InMotion RS was perfect and spectacular at $4,000 versus Daytona, I would once again I probably would go with the Daytona at the same price. I think I think it has more to offer. I like the dual stem. I mean, the InMotion RS is kind of a dual stem. I mean, unless they do the new design and they spread it out, uh, because I feel like technically it's a dual stem, but you don't have the stability of a normal dual stem because they're kind of close together. So while it's probably better than a single stem, it's probably not as good as some of the real dual stems like the Cabo Wolf series and the XTR, and then now it's going to be the InMotion Project Daytona. That's that's a good thing. I think that probably more, especially the fast scooters, the ones that go 50 plus miles an hour, need dual stems. I mean, why would it feels a lot better going on with and worried about that once you're up 50 plus miles an hour. So I think more hyper scooters, super scooters, going excess speed of 50 miles an hour. Start implementing dual stems in their scooters. They kind of look the same. So if you look at like the Cabo Wolf series and you look at the Mars XTR, I think the Cabos look a little nicer, but the Mars XTR is kind of modeled after that style, very similar style. And what Voro Motors has done is prove that you can still you can still have a beefy dual stem scooter with a little style to it. And I kind of like the look as well as what the scooter can do of the Project Daytona scooter. So, I think they've done a lot of things right with that scooter. Of course, did they pull it off to a high level as far as implementing everything and when it actually rolls out, and will it stand the test of time? And I know they make this is not their first scooter, but like I said, Cabo kind of fumbled with the XT with the GTR rather, and so that's been an issue, and they've had a really good reputation. So nothing against Voro. I think they'll do a great job, but I'm just putting it out there. There's no guarantees, and so there is a risk in that. Even that being said, um, I'm still willing to to take a chance on that scooter because of what it is. What else? I don't know if there's another scooter. I really had the Wolf King. Hey James, how's it going again, buddy? Good to see you back today. We're talking about Emotion RS, the new Emotion RS that is supposed to be coming out versus uh, the new Project Daytona from Voro. Hey, thank you, thank you. I'm glad to have you here. So yeah, I'm just talking to other options. I was considering getting something like the Wolf King GT, and rather than the GTR, I wasn't really leaning that way. But the Wolf King GT is solid. It's held up. Of course, when I got the Klima, I was considering the Cabo Wolf Warrior X, and just didn't, just at the, like I said, that was probably it was probably in this order. What I was really considering when I got the Klima was um, the Apollo Phantom VX4, and then or V4X, there it is, and then behind that the Wolf Warrior 10, and then finally the Klima was my leader. It was my leading scooter. But what was tempting about the Apollo is Apollo, seems to have some really nice scooters, and I thought it was the 1899, just like the Klima at the time. And so I was really considering getting that versus the Klima, uh, but I did have it even behind the Cabo Wolf Warrior 10, mainly just because of the deal. The Cabo Wolf Warrior 10 at the time was like $1,500, 14.99, and the Klima and the Apollo Phantom were both 18.99, and I find them both to be a good deal at that price. At 18.99, even right now, I feel like the Phantom V4X is a good deal. I think it's I don't remember if I saw that one on there today, but I think it's 18.99, or no, sorry, I think it's 19.99 right now. I can't remember if it was on the new sale. I know it's a flash sale right now. Maybe they're out, because I remember seeing the Apollo Go is 1,099, and then I looked at the Apollo Pro, and then the Apollo City. The Apollo City is 14.99. Apollo Pro is 29.99, which I think are good prices for them. And then I saw the two Phantoms, the Stellar and the other new Phantom that's coming out, the 2.0s, and they were each 24.49 and 34.99, I believe, for both of those. But I just don't recall seeing the old Phantom. So maybe they're out, maybe they're done with it, and they're moving on to the new Phantom series. I would unlikely. I mean, it's not 100%, but it would be very unlikely for me to purchase the any of the Apollos right now. I like the City at 1,500, but it's just a little less of a scooter than what I'm looking for. The new Phantoms are nice, but slightly overpriced. Yeah, you're over it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I like some of them. I would actually, if I did decide to get like the Go. If I could get the Go for, maybe $1,000, and it kind of replaced my Hover One Journey Max as kind of my toss in the trunk real quick kind of scooter. That I kind of like that idea. The City may be a little too big for that, but I don't know. I may consider that. It's a little bit nicer, beefier scooter than the Go, but probably not as probably not as portable. But aside from that, the Apollo, like I said, the new Phantoms, they're cool. The Apollo Pro right now is a really good price for 3 grand. I think I think that's a decent price for it. 29.99. I think it's fair for that scooter. Of course, it took a while to have to come down, and it goes back up and down all the time. That's a little game that they play, and so I think 29.99 is a deal for the Pro. At 3,500 for the new Phantom Stellar. I don't agree. I think it's. I mean, I don't even see it as a $3,000 scooter. I don't think. I'm thinking maybe 2,500, maybe 2,500 for the Stellar, maybe like a couple grand for the other. So I think they probably have the other one priced where the Stellar should be priced, and then I think the 52-volt version price would be around 2 grand. That's what I think, and even that's generous. I'm not trying to. I think that's fair. I'll put it that way. I don't think it's overpriced at that point. Certainly, you get a better deal for under that, but I feel the same way about the lower Phantom as I did the older Phantom. So I mean, once again, it's a $2,000 scooter. I agree, and they stepped it up with the 60-volt, and they did some nice things. Now, can I get a 60-volt nice scooter for less than $2,000 or right around $2,000? I got one behind me right now. So yeah, I'm not. Would I pay more if I didn't have a Klima? Would I pay more for any of those Phantoms than I would for my Klima? Nope, no sir. So I can't I can't justify going to something that high for a scooter that I think no. So James, the tariffs won't cause the prices to increase. And I did a video. I did a video on this. I don't know. I didn't do a specific video on that. I don't think, and I don't think I really necessarily want to. But there is in one of my previous videos I did mention the tariffs, and so you don't have to worry about that. Tariffs won't change the price of scooters. We had tariffs back about 6 months ago when I started watching electric scooters. Everybody was talking about the tariffs coming in and implementing these tariffs and causing the prices of scooters to go up. Even the scooter companies, some of them were pushing this. So the scooter companies will push this. The news, they'll jump on these things, but that's what they do. I have a degree in economics, and I can tell you that tariffs, it only changes where the money goes. Right? It either goes, if you charge tariffs, it goes in the United States government's pocket, and if you don't charge tariffs, it stays with the manufacturer. So, and all they can really do, they actually can change where they manufacture, so they can ship parts to and start having distribution centers and manufacturing plants in the United States, which may be the point of the tariffs. The tariffs may be to bring jobs here, and oh yeah, no problem. So they may be a strategy to try to bring jobs to the United States by kind of forcing them to come over here with a lot of their production and so forth. So yeah, but tariffs don't have an effect on the final price to the consumer. It puts pressure on the manufacturers. Maybe they have to go lean. Maybe they go out of business. But unlikely they'll probably just have to adjust and so forth. But the consumers aren't going to see much of a price. If you do, it'll be in the very beginning. It'll be short lived and it'll all even out. So don't rush and go buy them. Don't be spontaneous or emotional. Just wait it out, because they're going to levelize and go. They're not going to go up long term. if anything, it'll be just an emotional move from the market, kind of nervous about that, and then it'll settle right in. Yeah, yeah, big boys. They are, especially, and it's just they jump around. They jump around so much, and maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, but they jump in and they'll go way up on their prices, and then they'll drop back down to make it seem just like they're doing now with a flash sale, and they actually have some decent prices during the flash sale. But during regular prices, when you go in there and on new scooters such as the new Phantoms, they're a tad overpriced. And so, uh, pardon me, my throat dries out when I get on here for some reason. So, yeah, Apollo. It seems like like I said, they play this pricing game more than any other company that I've seen. I've been following prices now for over 6 months, and I've tons of stuff on paper that I wrote down when I was tracking prices. I have some in spreadsheets, and so I can see how they move around and sort of where they are now versus back then. Because and I didn't know that at the time. I was just writing all the prices down, but when I went back and started looking at them versus current prices, I just noticed, they were moving around a lot. So I started paying a lot more closer attention. And I just found that Apollo is always moving their prices, maybe on a weekly basis. Sometimes they'll jump up and jump back down, jump up and jump back down. And they're trying to create urgency. They're trying to create urgency, making people nervous that they're going to go up on the prices again. Temporary sale, flash sale, they're going to go up again. And they will, but then they'll come right back down. So wait it out. Don't feel like you got to make a decision right away. And sometimes you get a better deal than even right now. They had to go at 1,049, and you could actually get a $50 credit. So it's $1,000, which is a decent price for the Go. I think it's a good deal for that price. In the city at 1499 is a decent deal, and the Apollo Pro at 3,000. Those are all fairly adequately priced, but they won't stay there very long. Next week or a couple of days, whatever, they'll jack them back up to $3,500 and 1749 and 1249 respectively, going from the Pro to down to the Go, and that will be ridiculous. And anybody that looks at those prices are going to say they're overpriced, and that's just the way it is. For the new Phantom, 3,500 for the Stellar 2.0, and then and 2,500 for the base 52 volt 2.0. No good. No, I don't like it. I think they're each probably uh, $500 overpriced, roughly. You know, so yeah, I think the perception is that they're overpriced, but it kind of depends on what day of the week it is, put it like that. So, Monday through Thursday, they're more reasonable. On the weekends, I don't know, but they jump around quite a bit, and I think they do have uh, an image of being overpriced, which is not good. They're nice scooters, and so they're trying to get you to perceive that there's a deal when and a lot of scooter companies do that. You'll see a regular price and a sale price, and it never actually goes for the real regular price most of the time. Most of the time I see there's always a sale price. Scooters are always on sale. They'll have a higher than what I would think would be fair regular price, but I'll never see it at that regular price. It'll always be a little bit more reasonable, and off 20% off $100, $200, whatever it is. And so they're trying to perceive it as a better deal. Well, this is normally $5 million, but we're going to sell it to you for 1999. That sounds like a really good deal. And so that's I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create urgency. They're trying to display a a value. And Gosh, I'm gonna have to get some cough drops or something while I'm on these live streams. So yeah, they're out there, trying to, like I said, trying to create urgency, and these story about, with tariffs, they'll push the stories too because they want people to buy them. They want people to buy their scooters, and maybe now before the tariffs for sure because they get to keep some of that money. They just have to pay tariffs after a certain point. But there was a tariff on scooters, and if I remember correctly, it was like 100% tariff or something like this about 6 months ago. And and like I said, I saw that coming into the scooter, and nothing's happened. Nothing's happened. Some of the scooters are as cheap as they've ever been, and they'll continue to go up and down. They're gonna, they're not gonna change just because of that. Um, so I think I was talking, and I brought up some scooters. I did not bring up the Segway GT3 Pro. It's a really nice scooter. It's a 72 volts. It's a 30 amp hour, I think, maybe 40, something like that. 30, 40 amp hour, somewhere in there. And it's a super nice scooter. I really like the looks of it. And I'm sure the performance is really good. I don't know if it's quite as well built as the GT2, and so, but I like lots of things about it better. The look of almost the whole scooter, I think I like better. Not that I thought the G2 was hideous or anything, but it was fine. It was a good looking scooter, but this one really takes it. Their design. I mean, they did the tubular frame along with the color patterns and the style of the scooter. Not to mention the display, the nice display. I didn't really care for the. I mean, it's not a big deal to me, but the clear display thing, I don't care about that. So I like the design better, just in general on the scooter, and it looks really nice. They, like I said, I don't see a lot of performance change in the specs, considering they went up from a 52 volt to a 72 volt, but it's still a consideration. Like I said, I did a video right before jumping on here about the Segway Zyber, which is technically an e-bike. I consider more like a moped or um, electric motorcycle or something like that. But I called it a scooter in my video because to me it's more of a scooter than it is an e-bike even. Um, Maybe not, but anyway, it resembles something I would compare it or be deciding something. Let's say if I were going to go with the eMove Roadrunner Pro. eMove Roadrunner Pro is a little faster. Well, I don't know how fast it is compared, but top speed it goes faster at top speed. And so the acceleration of the Zyber is really nice, 2.7 seconds, 0 to 20. So my 0 to 15 on the Klima uh, is 2 seconds. And so in that range, 2.7 seconds is a decently fast vehicle. And I don't know for sure. I know the Roadrunner Pro is tire spinning fast in acceleration, but I don't know exactly how it would compare to the Zyber. So the 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 Zyber has got some impressive specs. I like the way. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, yeah. Chuckston, I was just talking about that. I like the Zyber. I mean, once again, it's more of an e-bike, but well, that's what they call it. But I see it more like a moped or a honestly a sit down scooter, if I'm being honest. So very comparable to, like I said, the Roadrunner Pro, and and I like the Roadrunner Pro, and it's actually a consideration. I would still consider getting that scooter if I decide. Haven't made up my mind yet. No, I'm going to wait and see, but possibly I might want something different. I may want a stand up scooter sometimes, and I may want a sit down scooter sometimes. I've considered that. I already have three stand up scooters right now. Two Hover One Journey Max scooters, and then I have the Klima. So, uh, I like the Max G3 as well. Um, I think it's a really cool scooter. But the only thing about those is that I don't like the single motors. I haven't spent a lot of time on single motors, but I've spent a lot of time on dual motors, and I just like the performance. I like the hills. I like the acceleration on those scooters quite a bit. So for me to spend money on a single motor scooter, mm, without testing it out on the hills and so forth. I mean, I know some of them are good. The VMAX scooters are supposed to be really awesome on hills, and I'll be curious to try them out. But I'm very hesitant to buy a single motor scooter before I got to test it out. In fact, VMAX has kind of a top, um, what I call a scooter. I wouldn't call it a beast scooter, but it's a dual motor scooter that's going to have some nice specs. And maybe 1,000-watt motors. It's going to be comparable to the Klima, and around the same price range. I think he said Paul said less than $2,000 possibly. They're working on it, but that's the VX6 maybe something like that. I think it is the VMAX VX6. And so that's going to be an interesting. I'll be keeping an eye on that. If they come out with that by spring, and it's a great deal, you never know. Um, you never know for sure, for sure. I don't think I have a shutdown timer. No, no, I don't have a shutdown timer. Timer for the battery. I mean, it turns off. It turns off when it's charged. So I don't have to watch for it to turn red or green, whichever it is. I don't have to wait for it to turn colors on the charger and then turn it off. It cuts off. So the battery kind of shuts down when you're off. Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about a timer in the for the scooter itself? If you don't turn it off, you walk away 5 minutes later. In case you forget to turn it off, it turns itself off. Is that what you're saying? Because it does have that. I don't use it, but it does have that. It does have a timer that you can set in the settings on the display in the control panel there, where you can have a shutdown timer for the scooter itself. So if you're talking about the battery, it kind of turns off on its own, and then and then you can go. I mean, it's easy to tell because it makes a loud noise when it's charging because of the fan, and then you go over there and just unplug it, so forth. When it shuts down, because it'll shut down. It'll turn green. The light will turn green, I believe, and it'll shut down. Oh, really? Yeah, I never actually tried it because I don't necessarily need it. But I did see did see a way to do it in there, but I have not actually tried to do it. But yeah, I'm thinking about like I said, in case you missed, I'm gonna do thinking about doing a podcast. Well, I am going to do a podcast hopefully next weekend, not this weekend, with the Average Guy 1983, Tiger GRM TAC, and then a friend of the Average Guy 1983s. He's gonna stop by, and he's got some cool scooters. We're gonna talk about his experience with those scooters. That's the idea for the podcast. So same guy that gave him the Dualtron that he's riding around at the moment. So this is one of the X Limited, maybe the big one. But he's white. He's riding it around and doing some mods to it and so forth. And so I think he's going to get him on the podcast next weekend. So that'll be a fun podcast. Meanwhile, I'm going to be trying to jump on live stream maybe an hour a day if I have time around this time. So you guys start looking for me around this time of the day. If I can, I'm going to jump on, try to do it, like I said, around the same time every day. I may be spending more time making videos. Today I did a video in a live stream. And if I have time, I'll be happy to do that and have something to discuss. Obviously, sometimes I just run out of ideas. And so at least I can jump on here and chat with you guys for an hour and see how that all goes. But yeah, I like when I there's sit down scooters, And I consider, I mean, even though, like I said, technically it's an electric bike, I consider the new Segway Zyber a sit-down scooter, and I absolutely love that thing. I mean, even at its price where it's at right now, I'd have to put 4 grand into that, which would be the same as the Project Daytona from Voro. And I'll tell you, that to say that, to be, to be even considered up against that is pretty, is a, says something about it. I think it's a really, really nice. I'm just like, it just seems like, I don't know. It seems worth it. It seems worth 4 grand if you get the additional battery. To be honest, it does. Now, that's probably as much as I'll pay for it. I wouldn't pay more than $4,000 for it, but I believe that's a fair price for it. It's brand new to the market. But man, I just, that thing looks amazing. It's a Segway, so I will be fairly sure that it's gonna last, and I would expect, if I did have problems, that they would support the new scooter. So e-bike, whatever. I'll be using it like a scooter, So I might as well be a sit down scooter for me, because I'm not going to be pedaling that huge bike. If I wanted something like that, I would get a regular bike. That was easy to pedal when I wasn't hitting the throttle. But no, I'll be using it more like a sit down scooter if I got it. But don't know for sure. The other one is the Roadrunner Pro. For the price, I think you get a decent amount of scooter. I'd like to see the price a little bit less. Just I know I said the the Segway is worth $4,000, and the Roadrunner Pro isn't quite worth what they're charging, which is only like 2,600 bucks, and or 27, 26, 27. I think 27. I think it should be a couple $100 less. You've got to add the additional battery to get the range. I've heard you can get some voltage sag from the just having the one battery, which is interesting, because I'm thinking about that on the Zyber. So on the Zyber, you can have one battery, you can have two batteries. And the second battery doesn't just increase range, it also increases power and performance. So you actually get more performance by adding the second battery. So that was interesting to me, because I heard about some voltage sag on the Roadrunner Pro with the single battery until you get the additional battery. Now I don't know. Hopefully that would have an effect. But with the Zyber, what I'm thinking is they found a way, and I mean Segway is really good, so they found a way to kind of back that down a bit, so that you're not over, you don't have voltage sag, because it lessens the pull on the single battery. But when you have both batteries, it ramps it back up again, and you're at full performance mode and crazy range. So I mean, 100 plus miles. I know that's on the higher end, but still, even half of that is great range. I mean, I'm probably not gonna go. I'll probably get in between. I'll probably get 80 miles probably out of that e-bike slash scooter. And so, uh, that being comparable to the Roadrunner Pro, yeah, the Roadrunner Pro goes a little faster top speed, but I'm probably not going to go 50 miles an hour on the Roadrunner Pro. I'll be more comfortable going 50 miles an hour on the Segway Zyber than I would on the Roadrunner Pro. It just looks like it has a lot more to it. It looks a better bit designed. It's much better designed piece of machinery. I like the little zippy Roadrunner Pro mini bike style, but it is cheaper. I'm just explaining that that's why I see a big difference between 2,500 or 2,700 and 4,000, and saying 4,000 is a reasonable price for the Zyber, because it's just impressively designed, um, really nice, beefy, uh, impressive, like, style, everything about the scooter e-bike I like. So the fact that it has pedals is going to be irrelevant to me, because they're just going to be like foot pegs, and I'm going to be using the throttle 100% of the time. And like I said, I expect my range to drop to maybe 70 ish. It could be, give or take. So that's probably what I would expect from the scooter. I'm not going to ride around. It goes 35 miles an hour, the Zyber. um, and I probably would get, I probably would go I'm sure I would hit 35 now again. I On that thing, it would not make me too nervous to hit 35 miles an hour. It just looks really, really nice and well built. And and on the Pro, I'd have to test it out. I mean, it's this little the tires are so small, the scooter's a bit small, and so you get going 50 miles an hour on something that just doesn't look like it supports a whole bunch. It's a little nervous. It's a little sketchy. So I mean, I'm sure I'd get used to it over time, and I'm sure it's fine. I mean, I don't see anybody really having too many big problems with it or anything like that. But just a feel, just as far as fuel goes, I could see myself going much faster, more comfortably on the Zyber. And it only goes to 35 miles an hour, which is, like I said, 99.9% of the time, I'm not even going to need that. So now and then, if I'm going to jump out, 35 miles an hour is plenty. I mean, that's plenty. And so I know I would never need more than 35 miles an hour. If I had 40, I got 40 on the Klima. I've never hit 40 on the Klima, but I can get that high if need be. But I never need to. I probably went 25 ish miles an hour. The only time that's as high as I've seen it when I glance down. But when I'm up in, when I'm going fast, I'm not glancing at at my screen. I'm looking at the where I'm going. So for good reason. So I might glance down when I kind of start when I let up off the accelerator, but I'm not usually punching the accelerator, staring at my display. Seems like a bad idea. So yeah, I don't necessarily do that and ever. And so I take it, I take it pretty slow most of the time. Like I said, I might have gotten up to 25, maybe a couple more, but by the time I looked down, it was 25. So maybe 26. Who knows? Maybe 27, but probably more like 25 ish. Uh, it's just never necessary. Just never. There's no reason to do it other than just to do it and say I did it. And I'm not that guy. So I go as fast as I feel like I need to in the situations that I'm in, and my daily little errands and so forth that I go on just don't require me to go very fast on the scooter. No, I've never. Are you kidding me? The turbo feature? No way. I can't even control the scooter. I come from a Journey Max. And Journey Max for my first scooter, and it having the acceleration that it has for that level of a scooter took me a while to get used to. And when I first got on it, I mean, I wouldn't even go in the top mode on the Journey Max, which of course now isn't a big deal. Although I haven't been on it in a while. And last time I went from the Klima, which is really nice to control, especially where I have it. Um, it's a lot. It's a big difference going back to the Journey Max, which is a more jumpy. There's the accelerators and everything is real smooth on the Klima if you use the throttle correctly. But it's real super smooth. But I have only so the only time I've even certainly not turbo, certainly not. But I've only got up to the top mode when I was originally testing the scooter. When I got the scooter, I took it out to the this school parking lot near where I live, high school parking lot, and so I just tested each mode there from the very because I didn't know which mode would be best for me to ride around in, where I would be more comfortable. Eco mode on the Klima is useless, in my opinion. I couldn't even barely keep the scooter up while in eco mode, and so it just like it's a fairly heavy scooter, like compared to the Journey Max, and so keeping it upright requires a little bit more speed, and it just is so slow to get up to speed, and even then you're only going like 7, so it takes you forever to get up to the speed in eco mode. So I didn't find it. I mean, I was having to kick the scooter more than once to to get it going, which is not fun. I didn't get the scooter for that. So I ended up just cranking up the speed to D, dynamic mode, I think it is, and dynamic mode was where I stayed for a while in the beginning, and before I got used to riding the scooter around. So once I started riding the scooter around, I went in dynamic mode, which was nice for me to start out with. And then once I got pretty comfortable with that, I went ahead and got, which only goes up to like 20 miles an hour, I think. I go ahead and jack it up to sports mode. So sports mode is the mode I ride around in. During my testing, I went up to custom mode, I think it is C, and it was a tad aggressive for me. The throttle was a tad aggressive for me, and then X mode was, I mean, just yeah, just way out there. So no, sports mode is perfect for now. It's been a while since I tried to go up from sports mode from when I very first got the scooter. Although one time I accidentally, I guess, when I was doing something and somehow I pushed the plus button on on the pad, on the control pad, and it jacked it up to turbo mode, and I didn't know it. So that could be a little dangerous. But I tried to get going, and it was like it was pulling. I'm like, what in the world? And the first thing I thought is, did I accidentally go into turbo mode? And I look, and that's exactly what happened, or not turbo, but X mode. Uh, you actually have to get turbo going. So I mean, no way, I can't control that scooter at that speed. I only tested in a parking lot, and it was fine. I mean, I got it, but I understood what the acceleration, what it's going to take to get used to that. I ride with my feet 1 foot forward and 1 foot kind of to the side. That's how I used to ride my skateboard. Not like a skateboard on half pipes and all this stuff like this. I'm just riding my skateboard around, and I ride with the my back foot sideways or kind of tilted sideways, and then my front foot straight forward, so I can control the skateboard. And if I need to make a turn, I don't know. I'm not going to do that on a scooter, but I'm just comfortable riding that way, and I feel like I have more control over the scooter, and I'm more balanced on the scooter with my feet. So um, I can't get mine to 18. Or you're talking about your Bernie. I can't get my clean up to 18. I think 7 as high as I got it in eco mode, uh, and then 20 in drive mode, and I think it goes up to 30 in sports mode. But and then I believe 35 in um, custom mode, and whatever it is, 30, 37, 40, whatever it is. And then you got to hit turbo to actually get it go to 42. I've tested it, on my bench. I put it on my bench, and yeah, no, like I said, I did test all the modes, including turbo, on my weight when I had it up on my bench, and so that I could see where what all it would do. So it will go up to 42 in turbo mode, um, but otherwise, I think it tops out at like 30 something, or maybe 40. There's a few extra miles per hour you get there at the very last. It might be up to like 5 miles an hour or something like that. But um, I know I've only done that on the bench. I've never done it in riding around. I still I can maybe go up to custom mode now and better control it. But my point was, the way I ride with my foot backwards, my back foot sideways, because that's just the way I feel myself more balanced. And if I put both of my feet straight, uh, I feel kind of wobbly. I know I've got the scooter and so forth, and I can understand why people like to ride like that. Yeah, exactly. So I get that, but for me, I like the stability of turning that back uh, sideways. For me, the stability of me on the scooter, not the scooter itself. So I prefer that, and so for that reason, it doesn't, for me to go jump up to turbo mode, X mode. I would have to likely put my foot on that back brace back there to counteract some of the forward speed, um, or supposed to counteract the force of acceleration off road. Uh, so yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But no, so since I ride with my back foot sideways, I feel better. But as far as accelerating really quickly, I'd probably have to move it back and be in that one position where I don't necessarily feel as stable on the scooter, as balanced on the scooter. I don't know. Just for me, um, I feel more comfortable in the mode that I'm in, and the best I can do is lean forward. Like if I can lean forward, and to counteract that momentum, and have my foot still stay like the way it is. That's the way I prefer to do it. I tried take my scooters off road. Both scooters I have are the Journey Max and the Klima, and they are both dual motor scooters, so they can definitely handle off roading, off so forth. But the Journey Max, I only did it once. I took it on a trail, and see you, Chuxton. But I took it off on a bike trail, pretty much through some like wooded area, and it did really well, except for a couple places where they had filled in some ditches, like ditch with gravel, really loose gravel, and the scooter did not handle that as well. I had to bail off the scooter twice when I ran across that gravel, and then I and so I didn't really take it off, other than like on trails and just um, not like not like really off road, just not on pavement, something like on small gravel, something like that, dirt, not a big deal. Some grass, some areas if it's really well manicured, otherwise it just gets way too bumpy for me. I did try to take the Klima off road one time it was kind of like a bike park kind of. It had some ramps and stuff that I wanted to kind of try out. I mean, it's off road, it's kind of dirt and so forth. It was a little muddy that day, but I took the Klima out there to see how it would do because it's got the suspension. I know it's not technically made for that, but it does have good suspension. And so I kind of wanted to see bigger tires than what I have on the Journey Max. And I wanted to and I still I didn't like the way the scooter felt. It felt like I was really trying, really hard to move. I was having to really give it some power just to move a little bit, and it was super bumpy. And I ended up walking the scooter out of the off of there with just walking it out, so I didn't have to keep putting that. The ride wasn't enjoyable, and the scooter just didn't really perform well. Now, possibly if I had, some knobby tires, but these have street tires on them, and I'm sure that would help, to a degree positively, if I put them on here to navigate through that. But as it is, it doesn't do well in that situation. Even with the knobbies, I feel like it would still be very bumpy, but hopefully get a little bit more power to pull from on the rough parts of the terrain. All right, we got about 5 minutes. What else? Any last questions before we wrap it up? Anything I missed? All right. What's the best time of the year to buy an Scooter Max? The best time of the year probably just passed. Um, maybe the Christmas season. There were some good deals, and not everyone had good deals, but there were plenty of good deals through the holidays. The Thanksgiving, Christmas, all started during that time. There will be plenty of good prices coming up, and in the spring with all the new releases, you might have competitors coming out. The new scooters sometimes have like pre yeah, Black Friday, not just Black Friday, but that whole all through the season. Like I Black Friday itself, was fine, but all the way through from Black Friday, from a little bit to Thanksgiving, all the way up until the end of the year, pretty much. There's still some people pushing January sales and so forth. So, for example, Solar still has a discount on their stuff. There's a couple here and there still have some good deals. I think GoTrack still has good deals on their scooters. So there's some deals that have lasted. Most of them have reverted back. Apollo reverted back, and now they're running some more deals. So it's pretty random. I think you'll see maybe a lot of competition early on. You have to see, but so many new scooters coming out, they're not going to discount those new scooters. They're going to get what they can. See you, big boys. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Retro Shaver Dude. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We'll see. That'll be next weekend. I'll come up with some more videos by then, and I'll try to jump on the live stream tomorrow again, 6 p.m. Central, my time. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you stopping by. I'll see you again soon. Gear up. Peace out. Hit that like button. Thank you, guys.